Hey y'all, it's Debbie with Mystery Quilts Anonymous, and I'm back to show you how to do a curved seam block. We are going to be doing this block, but the very first thing to this is cutting, as we all know. So I'm going to show you how I cut curved seams. First, let's go to the clue. And I've written the clue such that you have your dark, your medium, and your light. And I always like to put out here which one I'm actually using so I don't get confused. And then for the size quilt, I tell you how many you need to cut. So, and then this is our final, what we need in the end. So this dark light is dark template A, light template B. Those templates are right here. Template A, template B. All right, so we're gonna cut template A first. I have already straightened my fabric and laid it out. So I'm just gonna lay it out here and then I'm gonna show you how I cut it. Since I've already straightened that line, I am going to get a longer ruler and cut this side here, making sure I keep that bottom side straight. And another thing is, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm laying the line. See, there's a stitch line, and I've added your seam allowance. I'm laying my 1/4 inch line on that stitch line so that I get my perfect 1/4 inch seam line. I'm going to step in front of the camera to go a little bit around, then I'm going to cut this one side off for you. Okay, so let's just cut this one side off and then I'll show you how to cut that curve. Okay, here we go. Cut that one side, and then while I'm here, I'm just going to pull this down, keeping that on that 1/4 inch line that way and doing my 1/4 inch up this way to cut this straight bit off here. And now for the tricky business. Actually, I cut this one off while I'm at it. Sorry. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. How many times have we told our kids that? All right, with it lying in place, still lined up. This, if you have a smaller rotary cutter, it's probably a good idea to try it. However, mine is dull, so we're going with the bigger one. We're just going to lay it on here. Can you see okay? Shall we zoom in? Are we good? All right, so we're just going to go. I just start there, and I just follow that line. Your rotary cutter is very good at following what you do. I like to keep my finger up here so it helps me to steer that rotary cutter better. Remember, if you take your time, you're going to have a better curve in there. All right, and we're just going to come up in there. And then I like to hold it in place, see, and pull it away so that I can make sure that I got everything. So let's try this again. And we did. So there's template A, and I need 4 of these. I'm making the cane, so I'm gonna just rotate it and set it in there, and then I'll show you how I do this one. Okay, that's already on my straight line over there, so I'm going to just cut up this side. Oh, yeah, that didn't sound good. Pull that away, make it easier. Don't forget your 1/4 inch up there. Pull that off, our 1/4 inch down here. Stepping in front of the camera a little bit. And I'm actually going to rotate this because I am way better at cutting the other way. Making sure it's completely lined up. We're going to just do this one exactly the same way. Get it right on the edge. And head up and around. I just walk my left hand up and around there. If you're left-handed, you'll want to walk your right hand. Oopsie, a little off there. I'm going to go back. Okay, there we go. Straighten this up a little bit. Okay, so that's template A, okay? There we go, another template A. And now I'm going to show you how to cut your template B's, which I've already done in my black. Okay, so I'm going to show you on this one, which I've already worked out, that I can trifle this. I'm using fabric that's a little thinner than normal. This is only 90 centimeters wide. But I have figured out that if I triple it, I can get 3 at one time. I can fit 3 on here. So I'm going to triple it here. Because I need 12 of these, that means I have 4 cuts. I've already ironed this, so it should lay out okay as soon as I get it ready. There we go. There we go. All right, so I'm going to straighten up this end again because I've played with it now, cutting those other templates, and that's just going to make it easier for me to cut the template B. So I'm going to lay that on that edge again. All right, you know what? I'm just going to rotate this a little bit so that I don't have to step in front of the camera. All right? Setting that on the edge. I'm going to go up that one side, keeping my 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is, you know what, this is exactly the same as template A, except instead of going on the inside of the curve, you're going on the outside of the curve. All right, so my straight line is done. I'm just going to start, actually I'm going to trim that off. Try to trim that off. There we go. Straighten it back up. And then I'm going to just, exactly the same way, I'm just going to walk my way right around that curve. Pull it up to make sure I got it, and we did. Now I have 3 template A's, because I mean, that's a lie. It's template B. Okay? So for me, I'm actually going to straighten. Actually, I don't have to. I can go this way to save a little bit. Save a little bit of fabric here. We'll go this way. Okay, and I'll just cut these last 2 so you can watch me do it just one more time. And then I'll cut the last 2, and I will meet you in the next video for actually stitching these together. For me, that's the fun part. Okay, so let's just cut this one more time. I'm just making sure I've got my salvage up there and I can feel it. So we'll just cut up this side. And walk around again. And there we go. There's another template B ready to go. So I need 12 of these for the king size, which I'm doing. So I'll meet you at the sewing machine in the next video. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.